Welcome to Meet the Candidates 2025 on KOAL 107.3 FM and 750 AM. Tonight, we'll hear from 6 candidates running for Helper City Council. Our 2-year candidates are Bob Olson, Lori Barrett, and Ruth Lee. Running for the 4-year terms are Dave Palacios, Dave Dornan, and Tyson Damron. Let's go live to the Rio Theatre on Helper Main Street, where tonight's moderator, Aidan Mortensen, is standing by.
Hello and welcome to Meet the Candidates here on KOAL 107.3 FM and 750 AM, as well as on YouTube at KOAL Castle Country Focus. We are live from the Rio Theatre in beautiful Helper, and I am your moderator for the evening, Aidan Mortensen. Today we're meeting the candidates for Helper City Council, and we're going to be beginning with the 2-year candidates for the city, Ruth Lee, Bob Olson, and Lori Barrett. Immediately following this session, we will be meeting Dave Dornan, Dave Palacios, and Tyson Damron. Over the next hour, these candidates will be answering questions emailed in by the community. If you have any questions that you'd want to be asked in future Meet the Candidates events, you can email election2025@koal.net. Again, that is election and not elections. No S on that one. Now, before we get started, I'd like to go over the rules and format for the evening. Tonight's event is open to the public, and as such, we'd like to remind those in attendance to please refrain from cheering, booing, or anything else that may distract the candidates while they're answering. We'd also like to ask you at this time to please silence your cell phone, again, to limit distractions. The format for tonight's event will be as follows. Outside of the initial introduction and closing questions, in which candidates will have 3 minutes to respond, each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer the question that has been emailed in. The order of who will answer first has been decided before we began. After the first has had their time to go, the others will have 2 minutes to answer as well. Following the initial 2 minutes, candidates will have an additional 60 seconds to respond or expand on their answer, after which the other candidates will also have an additional 60 seconds to answer. We will follow this format throughout the evening. We'd also like to go over voting information at this time. Early voting for the 2025 municipal general election will be conducted at the Carbon County Administration Building at 751 East, 100 North in Price. The hours will be 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. beginning Tuesday, October 28th through Friday, October 31st. In-person voting will also be held on General Election Day, November 4th, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the Carbon County Administration Building. For those of you who are voting by mail, we'll have drop-off ballot boxes available at the Carbon County Administration Building in both the clerk's office and the east parking lot, Wellington City Hall, East Carbon City Hall, Helper City Hall, and Schofield Town Hall. So starting off with Lori Barrett, you will have 3 minutes to answer probably the easiest question of the evening. Introduce yourself to the public. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lori Barrett. I'm running for Helper City Council, 2-year term. Happy to be here and see all your faces. I've lived in this area, in the Helper area, for about 6.5 years, up in the Castle Gate subdivision. I love it. I've grown to love Helper and the people, and just have decided that I wanted to get in and I wanted to help. Wanted to have some positive influence. And just a little side history. My great-grandmother in the early 20s moved from Springville to Spring Canyon and ran a boarding house up there at the mine for several years. And so I have some ties here that I really only learned about not too long ago. And so I'm really excited for this opportunity and looking forward to what's hopefully going to be a great 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Ruth, you as well. If you would introduce yourself to the public, you have 3 minutes.
Hi, everyone. I am Ruth Lee. I am a 4th-generation Helper resident, so Helper is where I grew up, and I am fortunate enough to be able to raise my son in this same community. So Helper is where my values were built. It is where my future is rooted, and it is where I have that deep passion to give back to my community. What inspired me to run for city council, I feel that my local government and my community as a whole could greatly benefit from having a young voice on city council. Someone who has new ideas, fresh energy, and new solutions to our long-standing issues. I believe in being a proactive city council member, someone who is engaged with my community, empowers my community, and educates my community.
Thank you, Ruth. Bob, we'll finish out with you. 3 minutes to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Aiden. My name's Bob Olson. I live in Helper. I was raised in Carbon County. When we moved here when I was 12, and I lived in Price at the time. And we had a paper route, a family paper route in Helper. We delivered that paper route for quite a few years, and when they made the movie Dusty Bluffs a couple years ago, the premise was that they were two adult paper boys. It was kind of a comedy after the fashion of Napoleon Dynamite. So my mother-in-law's house fortunately got chosen to be in the movie, so I got to hang out with the cast for a few days and talk to them about Helper, what it was like in the 70s when I actually was a paperboy, and they were stunned that I'd actually been a paperboy in Helper. So when we moved here, I also played on the Central Commission Pony League baseball team in Helper. And I've always liked Helper. I've always thought the mountains were beautiful. I've always thought the Main Street was spectacular. And it was fun. It was a fun place to come and visit from Price. And we were here all the time because, you know, just like now we're in Price every day and Helper every day. It's a small county. After I graduated from high school, I went to Utah State University, got a degree in Spanish and political science. Then I went to Arizona State University, got a law degree, and decided to focus on real estate and banking. So I was in real estate and banking for about 39 years, and I retired this year. I've been on the Helper City Council the past 2 years, and I've really enjoyed it. It's been a learning process. I think we've worked well as a city council with the mayor. We've come to agreement on quite a few fairly tough issues, and I think we work well together. I think my approach to governing is to try to do what is best for the city of Helper. And that's tough sometimes when you're weighing different things such as raising taxes or raising costs. It's very difficult. Nobody wants to pay more, but a lot of times we have to do things like that because we're behind. A lot of times taxes were not raised when they should have been raised, and I realize it's hard for us all to come up with the extra money to pay for things, but inflation is a real thing. And so we've had to make some tough choices as a mayor and city council, and we've done that together, and we've worked well together. So I've enjoyed the past 2 years working on the city council, and I think I've learned a lot, and I think I'll be able to use that in the future as well. So that's kind of a little bit of background about myself.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Ms. Lee, we'll move to you to start off us off on our next question. Why are you running, and what are your plans or ideas for the community? You'll have 2 minutes.
I'm running because I think I can make a difference in the community.
Bob, it's Ruth.
Excuse me?
Ruth is starting on this one.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So
Yeah.
sorry. What are my plans for?
Yeah, why are you running, and what are your plans for and ideas for the community?
Like I said in my introduction, I am running because I feel that bringing new energy and new vision and new solutions to our longstanding problems could be greatly beneficial. I want to truly change the stigma around local government. I want it to feel more accessible and less intimidating. Through my experience running for city council and years prior, because this is something that I've actually been actively working towards for a little over 2 years now, I understand the kind of disconnect and misinformation going around about accessibility to information happening in our community. And so one of my main goals, if elected to city council, is to educate my community on what local government is, what city council is, how it works, what it's for, how to attend and speak at them, because when I feel as though if our community or residents in the community are well informed on these topics, they are more empowered to speak up at them, speak up at city councils and bring forth their ideas. And that is what truly makes a successful city council, a local government, and community as a whole.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Mr. Olson, your turn. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Please.
Why are you running, and what are your plans or ideas for the community? You'll have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Aiden. I apologize for jumping in too early. Well, I've always thought that Helper is a great place, but we do have issues and things to solve like any other community anywhere. And one of the things that's been brought to our attention quite a bit over the past few months and year or so is the fact that we've got quite a few properties that are either dilapidated or vacant or just run down. And it really reflects negatively upon the community when we have members of the community that are running businesses here and really rely on the tourism and people coming in and staying in their Airbnbs or going to their restaurants or touring throughout the town. The Main Street does look wonderful. I think it looks great. We've done a lot of work before I was even in, the past 8 or 10 years, we've done a lot of work, reinforcing the infrastructure, beautifying Main Street. But at the same time, there's quite a few properties throughout town that have not been updated. And what I really would like to do is just say, let's clean up and fix up what we already have. We've already got a great community. We don't need to expand or grow at the expense of keeping what we have, nice and pleasant and attractive. And that's kind of a tough issue to address on an individual basis, because nobody wants to be told that their property is, below average or needs to be fixed up. But we do need to work on that, and that's what I want to focus on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Ms. Barrett, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it? Why are you running, and what are your plans or ideas for the community? You'll have 2 minutes.
A few weeks ago, I was talking with a friend, and he asked me, what made you decide that you wanted to get into politics? And I looked at him, I said, I didn't. I said, I want to help. I want to do something to help. And that was when I've actually been on the city council since April. Excuse me. An opening came up. Someone had stepped down, and I got voted in for the position. So I've been fortunate to have been on the council for the last 4 months and have learned a ton. But I've wanted to just, I'm a natural born fixer. I love to troubleshoot. I love to problem solve. And I just felt like I could bring something to the table. I wanted to be able to participate and help make improvements and good decisions. And that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Ms. Barrett. Ms. Lee, we'll move back to you. You have an additional minute to expand or respond if you would like it.
I don't think I have any more to say, but thank you.
Mr. Olson, same offer for you. You'll have an additional minute if you would like it.
Well, the thing I didn't get to that I wanted to cover was we do have city ordinances in place, but they are not being enforced for a variety of reasons. And I'm not blaming anyone in particular, other than I think the ordinances have, some of them are outdated, some of them are unenforceable. So we need to do a better job as a city council, either revising or modifying or making that so that they are enforceable. And I'm promising to be dedicated to getting that done, because I really think that cleaning up our town and making sure that we are appealing to anyone from anywhere, from Europe, from California, from Salt Lake. They come to Helper. They want to have a good experience. They've heard about it. They've seen it. We're a pretty hot spot as far as tourism in Utah. So I think my time's up.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Right on time. Miss Barrett, you have an additional minute as well if you would like to take it.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. We will now move on to our next question. Mr. Olson, you will be starting us off on this one. The City Council works with a wide variety of organizations across Helper, representing a wide range of voices. How would you balance the needs and wants of these organizations with the wants and needs of the community? You have 2 minutes.
Well, of course, there's different organizations, and they're all pretty much focused on doing things that are positive towards Helper. The organization that comes to my mind is one where we went to last night, the Clampers, E. Clampus Vitus, and they really do a lot of good work around Helper, actually raising money for Sub for Santa. They put up signs, and they raise money to put up signs to commemorate, historic landmarks throughout Helper. And that's one organization that I really do like. The Friends of Helper has done so much for so many people here, and funding different projects, helping students. There's certain organizations that I am aware of and that I've dealt with. I don't know every organization that's in Helper that I would have to balance something where they were opposed to another organization. It seems like pretty much everyone here is trying to work in concert to make it a better place. So to your question of balancing the community's needs with the needs of those organizations, we really haven't run into any major problems with any organizations that I know of, honestly. It seems like everyone wants the betterment of Helper, and if there are squabbles or disputes, we've been able to resolve those fairly well in the city council over the time I've been there. So, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Ms. Barrett, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it? The City Council works with a wide variety of organizations across Helper, representing a wide range of voices. How would you balance the needs and wants of these groups with the wants and needs of the community? You have 2 minutes.
I think everyone is pretty much on the same page as far as wanting to make improvements, regardless of what organization they're working with, or they're just a private citizen. I think everyone wants basically, to improve the community, to make things better. You just essentially it can be a challenge. A lot of people have different agendas, different reasons for what they want, or different things like that. But the main thing I feel like is just to listen and to make the best judgments and best decisions that I know to make and to help make for the betterment of all, for the betterment of everyone and the community as a whole.
Thank you, Ms. Barrett. Ms. Lee, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
Yes.
The City Council works with a wide variety of organizations across Helper, representing a wide range of voices. How would you balance the needs and wants of these groups with the needs and wants of the community? You will have 2 minutes.
I feel it all goes kind of back to education, educating the community on exactly why these events are happening, what these events are for, and hoping to get more involvement from the community to join on these events. We have like the Helper Project. A lot of people should know about the Helper Project. They do so many wonderful things in our community. Another example I would like to bring up is the Clamper breakfast that they have during the Arts Festival. We have a lot of events that happen in Helper that kind of run at the same time. So the breakfast and the Arts Festival happening at the same time, being able to merge some events together to bring, a good time to the community and also supporting one event while simultaneously supporting the other event. I think that's the best way to go around it.
Thank you, Miss Lee. Mr. Olson, you will have an additional 60 seconds if you would like it.
Sure. I was able to work with Kim Kuhn from Helper Vibes one-on-one to restructure her contract with the city of Helper. And that was, something that it was interesting and it was a positive experience. And we did talk about it amongst the city council and the mayor, and we were able to get that done as well. So I really do think that most of the organizations in Helper are for the betterment of the city and have very, very similar goals. So it's not really that hard to kind of separate people that are fighting. We really don't. I mean, there's some disagreement, but nothing major. I've had a lot of people come to me and say that they would love to have a replacement for the car show that was taken from Helper, that we should sponsor our own car show.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Your time is up. Ms. Barrett, lastly with you, you'll have an additional 60 seconds if you would like it.
I just wanted to comment on the fact that it's impressive how different organizations within the community have worked together to make our events, to enhance our events, and just make for a better experience all the way around. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barrett. We'll be starting with you on this next question. Many promises are made on the campaign trail, but a single council member does not have the power or authority to make changes by themselves. How do you plan on accomplishing what you're telling your constituents you will do while in office? Ms. Barrett, you will have 2 minutes.
I don't believe in making promises. That's not a good way to approach things. Because again, on the city council, we don't work alone. We work together to vote and make good decisions. And so, in talking with people, I always make sure that I just say, this is a very good subject. I'm going to bring this up and talk with my the rest of the council and the mayor, but I never promise that I can do anything, because I simply cannot, and I don't want to set myself up or the city council or the mayor, for issues down the road. We'll just do the best we can.
Ms. Lee, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it? Many promises are made on the campaign trail, but a single council member does not have the power or authority to make changes by themselves. How do you plan on accomplishing what you're telling your constituents that you will do while in office? You will have 2 minutes.
I believe my entire campaign and my whole platform throughout this whole process was that I am going for empowering my community to be the voice. I'm not going into this believing that you are voting me in because I know all the decisions and I have all of the right answers and I'm going to do certain things. I'm doing this because you are voting me in so that I will listen to your voices. I will listen to the voices of the community, and then I, along with the other council members, will take that into consideration and find the best case scenario or the best possible plan to move forward.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee. Mr. Olson, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
Okay. Yeah, I believe talking with the city council members is very important, and talking with the mayor and talking with our city administrators. We're not always perfect at that, but we do our very best. And I agree with both Ruth and Lori that we do represent the community, and the community's voices are important. It's hard to promise that you will do certain things and then break those promises. You can focus on things and do your very best, but we have to come together as a city government and make the best decisions for everyone. And that's the hard part. You're weighing the city's interests, the community's interests. Sometimes they're a little bit at odds. And you just do the best that you can and try to represent everyone as fairly as you can. Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Ms. Barrett, you will have an additional 60 seconds if you would like it.
I think I'm good.
Ms. Lee, same offer for you, 60 seconds if you would like to take it.
I think I'm also good. Thank you.
And Mr. Olson, finally, 60 seconds for you if you would like it.
I'm done.
Perfect. Moving on to our next question then, Ms. Lee, this one we will start with you on. What plans do you have to stimulate and grow and support local businesses and the local economy? You'll have 2 minutes.
I believe that our local businesses in Helper are the foundation of our local economy. They not only keep people from the community coming to them multiple times and keep coming back, but they bring people from all over the world. And I think that that's truly amazing because these people love Helper and they love to come back again and again. So ensuring that I'm supporting our local businesses while also encouraging new small businesses and new small local businesses to come to our community is a major priority for me. I also feel and I know that it has always been Helper's plan to expand, and I agree with this as long as we are doing it responsibly and we do it in a smart way. Expanding to ensure that we are making room possibly for new developments to collect more sales tax or more property tax from residents to ease that financial burden on our residents is very important. But again, our small businesses and everything that we have in town right now is the foundation of our community, and we need to take care of it.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Mr. Olson, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
No, thank you. So to help businesses stimulate and grow in Helper, I believe we have to make Helper as beautiful as possible. We have to do a better job at keeping Helper clean and tidy and attractive. And we also need to make sure that we encourage all the citizens and business owners to support each other with different events. And I want to go back to talking about Helper Vibes. I think the Helper Vibes is one of the funnest, best activities that we have in Helper. And I've always talked with people coming from out of town to listen to the bands and coming from out of town to just be here and enjoy what Helper has to offer, which is a very casual, fun lifestyle, nice eateries, restaurants, bars, places to hang out. We've got the most beautiful mountain view, I think, well, outside of Kenilworth, we've got the best mountain view, I think, in the county. And we obviously have one of the most beautiful main streets in all of the state, or maybe even in the Western United States. And I truly believe this, and I truly believe that we have so much to offer to so many people visiting. And I've talked to quite a few of them that have visited. They're stunned that Helper even exists because it's almost like we're frozen in time. And it brings back the nostalgia of yesteryear that so many people miss. So I think to stimulate businesses, we really need to focus on the tourist activities, supporting every activity, and doing our best to give word of mouth to people about all the great things there are to do here in Helper. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Ms. Barrett, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it? What plans do you have to stimulate economic growth and support local businesses within Helper? You'll have 2 minutes.
I think it's important for everybody individually, and myself, number one, to support the local businesses, to look at ways to help make things, just to support and to help with new things that are coming along that are going, new things that are going to be happening in the community, to fully support those things. And it starts with me. So that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Barrett. Miss Lee, we'll move back to you and you'll have an additional 60 seconds if you would like it to expand on your answer.
Yeah, I would just like to say one more thing. I work at Balance Rock, so I work at one of our local small businesses, and just seeing how much not only they give back to the community, but how much all of the other local small businesses, the art galleries, the barber shop, the antique stores, and a million others that I could name, but I don't have the time for. But seeing how much that they truly give back to our community, it makes it such a high priority for me to ensure that we are supporting them in every way that we can as a city council.
Thank you, Miss Lee. Mr. Olson, you will also have an additional 60 seconds if you would like it.
No, thanks.
Miss Barrett, same for you. An additional 60 seconds is yours if you would like it.
I'm good, thank you.
All right, we will move on to our next question now, Mr. Olson. We'll start with you on this one. When working in any branch of government, no matter how big or small, disagreements are bound to happen. If you find yourself in a disagreement with a fellow council member or with the mayor, how would you plan on approaching and addressing this disagreement? You'll have 2 minutes.
Well, we have disagreed in the past over a few things, and that's normal in government. Everyone has their opinion, and people come from different backgrounds, and everybody has their opinion based on their specific background, and we're all different. So I expect there to be disagreement, but it's how you handle the disagreement that to me is the most important. Because if you can handle it in a way that's non-emotional, you don't get upset, you don't, attack someone, you don't criticize, you pretty much focus on what is the issue that we're talking about and how can we resolve this. And that's kind of how I've approached, the last 2 years, is to try to be as professional as possible. I was in the banking industry for over a decade, and banking is a tricky business. It's not fun. But the bottom line is always the most important thing. And everyone in every meeting that I was at always would talk about the bottom line and what were our goals in achieving the bottom line. Well, I think that carries over to government too. The bottom line in Helper is we want a better community. We want a community that everyone loves and everyone enjoys. How are we going to get there? Yes, we'll have different approaches, but the more we talk about it, we can come up with an agreement and, make concessions and collaborate. And we always seem to be able to figure out the best way to do it as a city council and with the mayor. And that's how I've done it.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Ms. Barrett, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it? When working in government, no matter how big or small, disagreements are bound to happen. If you find yourself in a disagreement with a fellow council member or with the mayor, how would you plan on approaching and addressing that disagreement? You have 2 minutes.
I think, number one, it's important to maintain control of oneself, try to keep emotion out of it. I like to take a step back and ask myself before I launch into anything, what really is my issue with this, and and then go forward and try to understand their side of it and work it out for the best, for the good of all, and rather than letting any personal agenda or anything get in the way. I think it's just important to reevaluate, okay, why do I feel the way I do? And just approach it in a positive, good way to come to a resolution.
Thank you, Ms. Barrett. Ms. Lee, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
No, thank you. I believe that disagreements can actually be a good thing. It means that somebody cares enough to speak up and speak out about something. So ensuring that with all communication, you are listening to understand and not just listening to reply. I believe that like Bob said, we all fundamentally want the same thing, what's best for our community. So focusing on being respectful and being honest and essentially focusing on the issue and not so much the other person.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Mr. Olson, you will have an additional 60 seconds to expand on your answer if you would like.
I don't know if the banking analogy was a good analogy or not, because bankers are kind of cold-hearted and mean, unfortunately, having had a lot of experience with that. But I think we get together as a city council and a mayor in an atmosphere of cooperation. And anytime an issue comes up, and we do disagree, and if we talk about it respectfully, we can respectfully disagree. But then we have to make a decision. So everybody should get their opinion out. And that didn't happen in banking. It was more of a rigid hierarchy from the top down. So, but the bottom line of Helper is not, making money. It's having a better community. And I think that's important.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Ms. Barrett, you'll have an additional 60 seconds if you would like.
Bob, I was in banking for 20 years, and I was never cold and mean. So I just had to put that in there. No, I just to reiterate, I believe we should never lose respect for each other. No matter what the issue is, we know that we're basically all on the same page. We want the best for the city of Helper, and yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Barrett. Ms. Lee, you will have an additional 60 seconds as well if you would like it.
No, thank you.
All right, again, we are talking to our candidates for 2-year seats on the Helper City Council. 2 seats are available this election cycle. We are talking to Lori Barrett, Ruth Lee, and Bob Olson. I'd like to take a quick second to thank you all for taking the time to come out and participate in this. I think events like these are very informative for the public and help guide them to who they want to see next as their city council representatives. We are going to be moving into our final question now. So again, we'll move back to the same format we had for our introduction. You'll have 3 minutes to answer. Again, probably one of the easier questions you're going to be asked tonight. Why should the citizens of Helper vote for you? Lori, we'll start with you on this one, and you will have 3 minutes.
I think they should vote for me because I have their best interests at heart. I don't have a personal agenda, only to help and to make things better. Like I said, I have a long history of problem solving, and I have good common sense, and like I said, I'm a fixer. And so that's what I want to do, is get in and help make things better, help make good decisions, and I hope you feel the same way. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barrett. Ms. Lee, we'll move to you. Same question.
So sorry, I have something in my throat. I believe that the residents of my community, I'm so sorry, should vote for me because I am young. Like I said before, I bring fresh ideas, new energy, and new solutions to our longstanding problems. I'm also a representation, or I represent the next generation who is stepping up to the plate. Those people who are starting families and buying houses, and starting careers, really getting into what being involved in a community is and how much local government truly plays in their life. So being able to represent them and be a resource for them is big for me, as well as being a resource for the rest of my community. Engaging with my community, empowering my community, and educating my community are my top priorities. And I believe I could truly bridge tradition with innovation and bridge generations across our community together.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Mr. Olson, we'll finish off with you. Same question. Why should the residents of Helper vote for you?
Probably the best reason would be that I care deeply about Helper. This is my home. I always plan on living here. I did live down in Phoenix for over 20 years. I learned a lot from living in the city, that good and bad, but I love living here. I've been back since 2012, so about 13 years. It's the longest I've ever lived in one place in my life. My mom was an Army brat, and my dad was also in the Army, and they liked to move us around quite a bit. So I lived in 4 different states by the time I was 5 years old. And seems like we always moved every couple of years and I had to uproot and make new friends. Well, I don't have to do that anymore. I'm here permanently, and I've decided to always live here because it's a wonderful place to live. So I care deeply about the city, the town, the city, our city of Helper. I enjoy working on the city council. It is not always easy. It is work. I rely a lot on the other council members and the mayor for their advice and their expertise. And I think I'm able to kind of see through issues a certain way, because going to law school, you learn how to separate out the issue, figure out what the rule is, apply the law, and make a conclusion. That's what you do. So that's how I was trained to look at issues, is to, hash them out and then come up with a conclusion. When the police came before the city council and also the other departments in the city and needed raises, we talked about it, and it was a hard thing to do, but I proposed a 25% raise for the police, which I think a lot of people fell off their chairs when I did that, but I believed in it. Now, we didn't get 25%, but we did get a pretty good raise for the police and the other departments as well. And see, that's kind of the balancing act that you need. It's a hard thing to do. It's hard to come up with the money to do those things. And I think I've had a couple of years of practice at it, so that's why I think I would be a good person to vote for.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. And again, thank you all so much for taking the time out of your evenings to come be with us. Again, these are just invaluable for the community. They do so much. And again, to remind you of upcoming voting information, early voting for the 2025 municipal election will be conducted at the Carbon County Administration Building beginning Tuesday, October 28th, and running through Friday, October 31st from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. In-person voting is also going to be available on Election Day from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. November 4th at the Carbon County Administration Building. For those of you who are voting by mail-in ballot, we have drop box locations at the Carbon County Administration Building in both the clerk's office and the east parking lot, Wellington City Hall, East Carbon City Hall, Helper City Hall, and Schofield Town Hall. We'd like to thank the two-year candidates for taking the time out of their day, and we will now excuse them as we prepare to move into our 4-year candidates section. You're watching Meet the Helper City Council candidates right here on KOAL 107.3 FM and 750 AM, as well as on YouTube at KOAL Castle Country Focus. We'll be right back.
Show your school spirit and support local high schools with the new Eastern Utah Community Credit Union debit and credit cards. Featuring designs for Carbon, Emory, and Grand High School, these cards let you carry a piece of your school's pride wherever you go. Plus, to make purchasing easier, Eastern Utah Community Credit Union has added the convenience of tap-to-pay and compatibility with major mobile wallets. Pick up your school spirit card today at any of the Eastern Utah Community Credit Union branches.
It's fun! It's our favorite place.
Strike up family fun for everyone. Gateway Lanes. Families that play together stay together. And Gateway Lanes is your center for fun, snacks, and great food. So let Gateway Lanes do the cooking with open and league bowling year-round and Club Bowl Thursday night, 9 till 11:30, with unlimited bowling including shoes. Since 1989, Helper's hometown bowling center, Gateway Lanes, South Main Street in historic Helper, and bowlhelper.com. Let's roll. You're looking for somewhere you could be proud to work. Komatsu is looking for you. Komatsu is a leading manufacturer of construction, mining, forestry, and industrial heavy equipment. Komatsu currently has openings for seasoned welders, journeyman electricians, and MSHA certified electricians, as well as master machinists. At Komatsu, not only will your skills be rewarded with competitive wages, but you'll also enjoy benefits like a robust 401k plan. Grow with Komatsu. Go to komatsu.com or call Tanner at 636-6150.
Hi, I'm Dr. Daniel Kelly, owner of Castle Valley Orthodontics. What's keeping you from having a perfect smile? We understand what you want, from a local orthodontist. And here at Castle Valley Orthodontics, you'll be treated like family. Call Castle Valley Orthodontics at 637-2222 for a free consultation.
Auto Farm Price Ford has your next vehicle. They offer guaranteed lowest prices. Come check out the selection of Ford F-Series trucks, including America's most popular truck, the Ford F-150.
We have them all right here in Price. Stop in and see us for a different experience.
At Oliver Law, we specialize in criminal defense and DUI. Everyone needs to know their rights. Let us guide you through the criminal justice minefield. At Oliver Law, we still believe in innocent until proven guilty.
Looking for the perfect mattress? We've got you covered. At Bill's Home Furnishings, we have the largest selection of mattresses in eastern Utah, including the highly rated Serta Perfect Sleeper. And when it comes to price, we're competitive with anywhere in the state. But we're more than just mattresses. From quality furniture and home accessories to reliable appliances, we've got everything you need to make your house a home. Stop by Bill's Home Furnishings today, where selection, savings, and service meet, right here in eastern Utah.
At Landon's Diesel, they understand the heartbeat of your diesel truck. Whether it's the rig that powers your livelihood or the everyday vehicle that drives your life, the trained technicians at Landon's Diesel are here to keep you rolling. Plus, with 24-hour towing service, support's just a call away, anytime, day or night. Drive into Landon's Diesel for expert care tailored to you and your truck, because when your diesel needs expertise, Landon's Diesel is always here.
You're looking for somewhere you could be proud to work. Komatsu is looking for you. Komatsu is a leading manufacturer of construction, mining, forestry, and industrial heavy equipment. Komatsu currently has openings for seasoned welders, journeyman electricians, and MSHA certified electricians, as well as master machinists. At Komatsu, not only will your skills be rewarded with competitive wages, but you'll also enjoy benefits like a robust 401k plan. Grow with Komatsu. Go to komatsu.com or call Tanner at 636-6150.
We now return to Meet the Candidates 2025 on KOAL 107.3 FM, 750 AM, and live on YouTube at KOAL Castle Country Focus.
Welcome back to Meet the Candidates here on KOAL 107.3 FM and 750 AM, as well as on YouTube at KOAL Castle Country Focus. We are live from the beautiful Rio Theatre in downtown Helper, Utah, and you recently heard from the 2-year candidates for Helper City Council. We are now moving forward to the 4-year candidates for the seat. In person today, we are joined by David Palacios as well as Dave Dornan. Tyson Damron, the other candidate, was unable to make it. He was caught up where the semi-trucks recently caught fire along Highway 6. He's out there ensuring public safety. So we'd like to thank him for his service there, and that is why he's not present at this forum. We're going to conduct this in a very similar way to how we ran the 2-year slate. We will have a different set of questions for the candidates this go around. They're going to be answering questions that were emailed in by the community. And again, if you want to get involved in future Meet the Candidate events, you can email your questions in at election2025@koal.net. Again, that is election and not elections. There is no S in that. Over the next hour, they are going to be answering questions emailed in by the public. Now, as we get started, I'd like to give a quick refresher on the format for the evening. This event is open to the public, and as such, we'd like to remind those in attendance that to please refrain from cheering, booing, anything that may distract the candidates from answering their questions. At this time, we'd also like to remind you to silence your cell phones, again, to limit distractions. The format for tonight's event will be as follows. Outside of the initial introductions and closing questions, in which candidates will have 3 minutes to respond, each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question that has been emailed in by the public. The order of who will answer first has been decided before we began. After the first has had their time to go, the other will also have 2 minutes to answer. Following the initial 2 minutes, each candidate will have an additional 60 seconds to expand or respond on their original answer. Following that, each candidate will have an additional 60 seconds as well. We're going to be following this format throughout the evening. We're going to open up with some voting information as well. Early voting for the 2025 municipal general election will be conducted at the Carbon County County Administration Building beginning on Tuesday, October 28th and running until Friday, October 31st from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. In-person voting on Election Day coming up on November 4th will be held in the Irving County Administration Building as well from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. If you are voting by mail-in ballot, you have drop-off boxes available at the Carbon County Administration Building in both the clerk's office and the East parking lot, Wellington City Hall, East Carbon City Hall, Helper City Hall, or Schofield Town Hall. So we are going to be beginning the evening with Mr. Dornan, and you're going to be answering probably the easiest question we have. Please introduce yourself to the public. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hello, everyone. This will be my third session. If I am voted in to Helper City Council, why did I want to run? That's what the question I got is, why? What, you going to run again? You go, why are you going to run? I said, if you keep asking that question, I'm getting a different psychotherapist. But what I think is I hear the different candidates say different things. And one of the things I say is slightly different is I believe very heavily in the new people that are arriving because change is good. New people have come in and made differences. When we bought our building from the city of Helper at a very reasonable price, I was teaching at the University of Utah painting, and I said, well, let's get off campus. My wife, Mary Lou, and I said, let's get a place off campus. So we bought a building from Helper City and moved down here and started remodeling it. And my first engagement with a Helper City resident pulled up, and the liquor store was one of the few businesses that's still in here. Pull up, and a car pulls up, and a woman got out. Her son was driving, luckily, and it was noon. The liquor store just opened, and she put her hands on the back of her hips and looked up. I was tearing T111 siding off the building, and she said, "What's all this art crap?" Well, that has changed because a lot of artists have moved here, and we've gotten to know different people from the community, and we've also met longtime residents. Rich Colombo, who has had some medical issues recently, he was carving meat. I find an interesting thing, at least for me, is when I ask the residents here, why haven't you run for city council? People who own a business say, oh, if you run for city council and you get elected, your business will cut right in half. Well, I can say pretty much anything I want tonight because I figure the people that don't like me have already sent their vote in. And I'm here to say Helper is in good shape. It's as good as I have ever seen it. I sat next to the governor. I was honored with an award in my art career, and I sat next to the governor in the governor's mansion, and he said, you know, I see Helper as the golden child of a small community that has reinvented itself. And that was what I wanted. I wanted to make a place where I didn't need a vacation from. And many of you know I don't like to go, particularly my wife. But I ran again, actually, and the truth is my wife said, you got to run again because that's the only time you shave and don't have paint on your clothes. But the new members of the community, we see them. I see them out there in the audience, people who have come in with the RV, 10 seconds, young art people, Mel Steele running that event of Harry Potter. It's amazing. It's for the kids. And it's...
Thank you, Mr. Dornan. Mr. Palacios, I will offer you the same question. Please introduce yourself to the community.
And you want me to follow that?
If you could, please.
Okay. My name is David Palacios, and I have born and raised here in Helper, actually. In fact, my family, we lived in Standardville, which is in the old coal camps up the canyon here till I was about 5. And my dad built his home here in Helper in 1964, and I'm proud to say I'm living in that home still, and that's huge to me. Just been part of this community, except for the 20 years that I spent in law enforcement in Colorado. I've been here the entire time working in the energy industry and the service industry. So, like I said, I've been a long-time resident here. I've seen Helper go through a lot of changes, be in different spots, and I agree with Dave here. I think Helper's in a pretty good spot right now. I being an energy guy, I love to see our energy people moving here. I have colon oil in my veins, and I just love to see that energy happening here. It's doing well. I think it's going to continue to do well. And so that comes back to us as well. Helper, like I said, is in a fairly good spot right now. We're not perfect by any stretch, but that's what we do as council members. We try to make it better for y'all. And I have been a council member for, I think I came on last February. I filled a vacancy, and I was fortunate enough to get interviewed and selected to do this. And I have to tell you, I've really enjoyed it. I've been assigned to Public Works and the parks and the pool. The pool was really a fun and educational thing that I did this summer, and we had a great year with the pool. We're going to do some new changes to it and remodel some of the stuff there. So we were able to do that kind of stuff, which I thought was pretty exciting. And the pool is just a great attractor to Helper. Again, Helper is in my mind, is just the crown jewel of Carbon County. When you're coming down from the north, this is the first place you see. And Balance Rock, the mountains, Dave, the restaurants here in town, everything is just wonderful to get through here and see. And we do get people from all over the world here. It's amazing how much tourism comes from other parts of the country, and it makes it very exciting for me. So I'm happy to be landed here. I've enjoyed being on the town council now. I hope that you'll vote for me. I want to continue to do this for 4 more years. There's some stuff that I'd like to see to completion. And we perhaps can talk about that here a little bit longer, but that's who I am, and that's what I'm about.
Thank you, Mr. Palacios. We will be starting with you on our next question. If you could you please speak on any interactions you've had, both positive and negative, with government organizations on the local, state, or federal level in the past? You'll have 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah. As as a law enforcement officer, I've had dealings with the ATF, the FBI, and all these different law enforcement organizations like that. And I worked in Denver, so we had a lot of that going on. And some of it was good, some of it was not so good. But it was we all had one common goal, and that was law enforcement, to protect the public and take bad guys to jail. That was our goal. So like I said, some of those weren't good, some of those were great. More recently, as a transportation supervisor, I've had to deal with the Department of Transportation, the law enforcement side of the Department of Transportation. So we ran the coal trucks. I worked for Savage, as you all know. We ran coal trucks up and down these highways, and I've had to work with the Department of Transportation quite a bit on road stuff, truck stuff. We've also worked with the Mine Safety Health Administration, MSHA, going to our coal mines because we had to be certified to do that, to go on the property. So. And some of the, and I'm certainly not being critical of MSHA, but it was usually our fault that we got in trouble with MSHA. So, but we've had to work through stuff. As far as the city of Helper goes, I think I've been pretty lucky. I have not had any really negative experiences with any government entity as it pertains to the city of Helper, and I've felt lucky for that because like I said, I've had some dealings with other agencies that hasn't always been pleasant, but. So far with Helper, it's been great.
Thank you, Mr. Palacios. Mr. Dornan, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
Do I have 10 minutes?
Still 2.
No. I understand. Yeah. People, as you were saying, or Dave had said something about involved with government. The thing about being on city council, and particularly for people at the head of it, our mayor, for example, we have to deal with higher government issues. FEMA comes in and tells somebody they can't do it, and they expect the mayor and the council to say, no, we can't do that. So there are oversight that we have to be very aware of, and unfortunately, it makes us look like a lot of bad idiots. I've noticed in that election, people have made take a negative issue rather than that becomes their karma. It's like they don't focus on our platforms, Helper's platforms. They focus on negative issues that they individually have, and we try to. It's our responsibility to try circumvent that when we're able to.
Thank you, Mr. Dornan. Mr. Palacios, you'll have an additional 60 seconds if you would like it. Yeah,
just to add to everything else, as I'm learning the city council, I'm we'll become a lot more familiar with the different government agencies that we deal with. But like I said, so far, I know we've had some dealings with them, but I think it was a little bit before my time, and I may be a little bit outside that right now. But that's why I want to get reelected, and I want to grow.
Thank you, Mr. Palacios. Mr. Dornan, same offer for you, 60 seconds if you would like it.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward for the next 4 years to keep moving forward. I hope I get voted in. The reason I'm running is our current mayor is running again, which I've been very surprised. She is kind of like a workhorse. And it's been a pleasure to work with people who are confident, who are going back to Washington, D.C., who are not fighting for price, because I've seen all that. And now we've got USU as a big part of our group of people. We're going to have good baseball here. What has happened, I found, is that we used to be 25 miles from Price. Helper was 25 miles from Price, and we were 6 miles, 25 minutes from Price, 6 minutes to Helper. That time has gone. And now we're getting people coming down to Helper to see music and events like that. So it's very positive for me in that sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dornan. We will start with you on our next question. What service have you provided for the community in the past? You'll have 2 minutes.
Numerous different things. I was heavily involved in the building of Main Street, where the citizens actually came up with the idea of the environment bringing rocks down. I did get in trouble for having rocks on Main Street. They started calling me Boulder Dave, But the citizens came together, and I saw all these kids unloading rocks on Main Street, and I wanted to bring indigenous things to the environment. My wife and I, actually my wife brought the people together, and I just kind of tried to direct the aesthetics of and that gets me in trouble once in a while, aesthetics. But the monuments you see at the museum for the power plant, the one that's up in the canyon, Boulder Park. I put in Boulder Park, and exactly the minute I'm doing that, kids are going to get stuck. And so I got in trouble for that. But it costs nothing because Jesse McCourt likes the city. And he may or may not be here. I don't know if he votes in Helper, but he brought a loader over and came down because if we keep it positive, things will move forward. And if that negativity plants a germ, we as citizens have to just set that aside and keep moving forward. And I want for 4 more years to keep that momentum. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dornan. Mr. Palacios, same question for you.
So prior to being a member of the board, I was actually on planning and zoning. I did a stint on planning and zoning, which was kind of my introduction to what goes on in Helper, and I found that was I enjoyed my time on planning and zoning. I learned a lot about our ordinances and things like that, and direction that we wanted to go. And we had issues on P&Z, and we dealt through those and walked through those, and it was just a matter of cooperation and understanding by everybody. So I enjoyed serving there. Also, I've been involved. I like to do charity work, and I like to donate when I can. I helped to donate to our All Access Park, which was huge to me. That was a wonderful accomplishment by a lot of people. Worked hard on that, and were able to get that built. And so I was participated in some raffles in that, and wanted to see that get built. As far as anything else, when I worked, I've been retired for about a year. So when I worked, and I was busy. And that's part of my motivation for retiring, was that I just didn't want to work that hard anymore, because I'd been at it for 50 years and I just didn't want to do it anymore. So I needed some new direction and some new change. So coming to spend a little more time in Helper, getting to know people. I do a lot of work at a lot of volunteer stuff at St. Anthony's here in Helper, for our carnival and other events that we do, bingo and all kinds of stuff like that. So I love this little town. I love to see what goes on in here. I love to watch baseball again. Like Dave said, it's been good. So that's kind of where I've been. And like I said, it hasn't been a whole lot, but I think the stuff I've done has been meaningful.
Thank you, Mr. Palacios. Mr. Dornan, you'll have an additional 60 seconds if you would like.
There are a lot of many traditions like baseball that I see recurring. Helper is going to be a baseball center, I believe. Our mayor is working on grant, a little over $500,000. She's been talking with people, and if we get matching funds, I don't know what the status is, but if we have $1 million to put into our baseball field, that will be a great place to sit, an easy place to park, a good place to get a hamburger, and you know when the baseball's playing because you can see the lights on anywhere in Helper, and that's why I like the size of the town. You know, Malcolm Gladwell said, he's a writer. Malcolm Gladwell, in his book The Tipping Point, said when a place gets more than 2,000 people, what happens is they quit talking to each other. He talks about corporations. When a corporation splits off and they have 2,000 here and 2,000 here, they don't talk to each other anymore. So we have to be careful in how we build. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dornan. Mr. Palacios, same offer for you. 60 seconds if you would like to have it.
I'm good, thank you.
All right, moving on to our next question then. Mr. Palacios, we will start with you on this one. Local retailers are a vital part of our community's economy, but often feel overshadowed by larger economic development priorities. What specific steps would you take to support and strengthen small local retailers here in our area, both to help us stay competitive and to keep local dollars circulating in the community? You'll have 2 minutes.
You know, I live in Helper, obviously, and I trade here as much as I can. I love Balance Rock. I've shopped at Central Commission. I've been to the art galleries here, the bowling alley, all that kind of stuff. I love to support what we've got going on here. I'm all about growth in Helper as well, but it needs to be a controlled growth, something that we need to keep an eye on. And the hugest part of that is our infrastructure. We need our infrastructure improved, our electrical grid and our water grid and all that stuff. Just needs to be improved right now before we can see like really huge, substantial growth. But I'm not opposed to that at all. Like I said, it just needs to be controlled. We have to make sure we have the infrastructure. And I think in the meantime, as we build this stuff, I've seen our Main Street just packed. I mean, it's difficult to find a parking spot on our Main Street, especially on the weekends. We have a lot of events here. And I know that benefits all our local people here. So my goal would be to encourage, you know, the Helper Vibes, the Arts Festival, all that kind of stuff, that we can just keep our downtown alive and active. I've seen it when there's been nothing down there. It's heartbreaking to see that. And now, like I said, it's 180 degrees, and I enjoy that. So keeping, like I said, in the meantime, until we get our infrastructure built and we can start looking at some big stuff, we just need to focus on our events that are going downtown and encourage people to shop locally, because I know there's a lot of stuff here that we have to offer, and I like to see people here. And again, it's like I said, we do see a lot of people here, and that's what kind of helps us out as well. So,
thank you, Mr. Palacios. Mr. Dornan, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
Yeah, just quickly.
Local retailers are a vital part of our community's economy, but often feel overshadowed by larger economic development priorities. What specific steps would you take to support and strengthen small local retailers here in our area, both to help us stay competitive and to keep local dollars circulating in the community? You'll have 2 minutes.
Okay, just very quickly. I think my wife and I, our history says we have supported that. Many years ago, Mark Stukenschneider called us up one day and said they were going to close Balance Rock. That was the only place open really on Main Street, because a lot of places had been abandoned. Do you know somebody in Salt Lake that would like to run it? And I sat there and was thinking of the people who have the Blue Plate Diner and several people that I'm aware of. And I turned to Mary Lou and I said, "Do you want to buy it?" And she said, "Well, yeah, that's okay." A week later, we signed the final papers, and we owned the Balance Rock along with Mel and Ben Steele. We subsequently sold it to Cindy Curry and Clay Org 3 years later. The pizza place, we bought that when Mary Lou sold her house and moved down here. We bought the from Ed. Anyway. We bought that and we started building race cars, because I want to race cars. And we did that for a while and then we abandoned it. But then during COVID, a couple came in and bought a house from Cliff Bergera, a longtime person, came down and met with us and said, "We'd like to buy that building for our business." And we kept it during COVID because we felt like we liked the enthusiasm of young people. We didn't want to make money in real estate. We wanted to make Helper a better place to live. And everybody you drive by now and you see people from Moab, they're stopping with thing. and we're getting some of the best in the country beer because he's won 4 major awards. And that's exciting when something like that happens in Helper, whether it's a pottery shop or any little small thing. One artist has a group of artists, the Steels, have a business that just stays open all the time. One of those few. Okay.
Well, thank you, Mr. Dornan. Your time is up. Mr. Palacios, you'll have an additional 60 seconds if you would like it.
Okay. You know, and to reiterate what Dave here said, while I was on planning and zoning, I got to see the coming on of Helper Beer, which is a great place. If you've never had a pizza there, I highly recommend that. And if you don't like it, I'll pay for it. So it's a great place to go. We have a weed control company here in Helper that has flourished greatly. They, I like to do the weed control in my yard, spray the weeds, and these guys went from when they first came to planning and zoning, had 1 truck and 2 guys. Now they're up to 4 trucks and 5 guys, and they do other things besides weeds now. So I love to see that kind of stuff, and that's the kind of controlled growth that I've been talking about for now, and it's working good. And if we can continue to do that, we'll have, like I said, these guys have prospered. They've been great. And I know there's other stuff that's going on here as well that I haven't mentioned that are kind of gone out of my head right now. So, but that's just wanted to add that to that.
Thank you, Mr. Palacios. Mr. Dornan, 60 seconds is yours as well if you would like it.
Yeah, I don't like their pizza, so I'll see you there tonight. No, I don't think I have much of a response to that particular thing.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Dornan. Again, we are speaking to the 4-year seat candidates for Helper City Council. Dave Dornan and David Palacios are joining us here in person. Our third candidate, Tyson Damron, unable to attend. He is out working along US 6 where the tanker trucks recently caught fire. So we wish him safe travels out there as he ensures others have safe travels. Moving into our next question, Mr. Dornan, we'll start with you on this one. How do you plan on ensuring the public is informed and involved in the decision-making process? You will have 2 minutes.
Probably by, we had thought at different times a newsletter on the back of people's bills, but more people don't. I never flipped my bill over. I just simply looked, there's the amount we owed and we paid it, and now we do it online. So getting information out is critical, as some of the 2-year candidates said. Getting information out is critical, but also I see familiar faces that attend most every council meeting, and they're attending and they're involved and they pass information on. So when you look at what's coming up on council, it can be pretty exciting. I mean, we can be voting on roosters crowing. There are a lot of different issues that arrive, but we meet a lot of people who come in and they're promoting suicide awareness, and we speak with, there's always a police officer there, and they bring up issues that sometimes that we need and that the citizens would be interested in. And I said a thought one day that I guess got a laugh. I said, you know what we should do is say, City Council on the agenda is we're going to change Big John's head to Dave Dornan's head. And everybody would get in a uproar. So, just getting people to attend and and the city council members do in fact walk the streets, come out. I love going to the vibes and walking in the stores. So anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Dornan. Mr. Palacios, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
Please.
How do you plan on ensuring the public is informed and involved in the decision-making process?
Okay. I've always been a huge advocate of communication. Communication is key in our daily lives, everything that we do. And right now, from the time when I was a kid, the communication that we had was my mom would send the dog out when it was time to come home. And that was what we had back then. Nowadays, it is so different from there. We cell phones, email, bat signals, whatever we have, but it's gone so far now, and there's really, in my mind, no reason not to have good, solid communication. I enjoy it when people come to our meetings. I would love to see a lot more people get involved in our meetings because we're making the decisions, and we want your input, obviously, because this is for the betterment of all of us here in Helper. I love to see the newspaper there. They're always there. And I'll have to, I'm actually embarrassed to admit, I don't do social media. I've just never just have never done that. And I think I may have to change that paradigm and maybe get involved a little bit more, because it's important to communicate. And I think by making sure our local paper's there and encouraging everybody, I encourage everybody I run into to come to a meeting. You'd be amazed at what goes on in our council meetings. And if you want to talk about something, let us know. We'll talk about it. We just want to make this the greatest community around, and we're working on that, and we can do it with the help of our citizens who, like I said, I know a lot of them, I enjoy a lot of them, and I am just completely happy to be here back again in Helper. And I've been here for 25 years now. So, and also I just need to rechange the statement. I'm not asking to be reelected. I'm just asking to get elected. So.
Thank you, Mr. Palacios. Mr. Dornan, you'll have an additional 60 seconds if you would like it.
Yeah. I would just comment that a lot of people don't know the difference of what we do up at the city council. We're trying to make decisions. Usually it's financial. It's not major issues, but people come in when there's a major issue that affects them. Graffiti in the tunnels, things like that. We pass that stuff. But really the job entails figuring out a budget. I'm not good at it. I depend on other people a lot, and that's not my forte. But I'm confident that the current city council right now is right behind the ball, and we do have a former city council member who's in charge of who sits in the office now and gets paid, not as much as I get paid, but he gets paid. And it's very exciting. It's a very exciting time and a positive looking forward time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dornan. Mr. Palacios, same offer for you, 60 seconds if you would like it.
I'm good, thank you.
Moving to our next and penultimate question of the evening. Putting together the budget is a major challenge each year that faces both the mayor and city council. How do you plan on approaching this process if you are, in this case, reelected? You will have 2 minutes, and Mr. Palacios, we will start with you.
So a budget is a huge part of what we do. And my experience at Savage, I was an operations manager there, and we had a multi-million-dollar budget that I would put together with the help of other people, of course, and then I would manage it throughout the year. And ours was a daily thing with that. So budgets are important. So I have some experience at that. A municipal government budget is different than a for-profit budget, obviously, but I think the basics are kind of the same. And I've been learning what we have. We've had some really comprehensive budget meetings prior to releasing our budget and approving our budget. We sat for, it was quite a while, wasn't it, that we sat and worked through that and just looked at everything line by line, because that's important. We have to look at everything line by line. We have a sizable budget. It's wonderful for our little town. So it's important to just make sure that we include as much as we can for our current year that we're doing. We have things that we have to absolutely have money for, things that we'd like to have money for, and things that we need, things that we plan for. We're always looking ahead in our budget cycle. So it's important that we just all sit down as a group and talk together and bang one out, because it's not easy. It's not easy to do, but we have enough experience on our board, on the city council to work through this stuff. And the last one was great. It went really well. I was thoroughly pleased with the way our budget cycle went.
Thank you, Mr. Palacios. Mr. Dornan, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it? Managing the budget is a major challenge that faces both city councils and mayors alike. If reelected, how would you plan on going about this process? You'll have 2 minutes.
I think I'm a little bit selfish in that issue, that I like to see certain things. Every council member has their priorities. We need to listen to the different departments and decide where things are going to be. We have a big budget now. Thankful. Helper's doing great. Look at our budget 10 years ago. I don't know what it was 10 years ago when I was on council back 10 years ago, but now this budget is getting bigger. We're collecting more taxes. We're moving forward. People didn't want the Maverick. However, we're bringing a lot of taxes in from the Maverick. We've lost businesses and we've gained businesses, but it's a responsibility to keep control on what's happening and try to keep everybody happy, which sometimes can be a very challenged, but I feel confident that the people on council have that ability, particularly under our current mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dornan. Mr. Palacios, you'll have an additional 60 seconds if you would like.
You know, as I've mentioned before, I'm assigned to Public Works, and Public Works has an operating budget, obviously. And I really enjoy working with our supervisors at Public Works and trying to, they stay in really good communication with me. If something comes up, hey, we've got this, how do you want to handle this? And my first question is, how much does it cost? It's always that's something that we have to consider and think about. But there's times, but also on the other side of that, we want the best for the city as well. So we manage, as far as Public Works goes, we really manage together on that one particular, the Public Works budget. We really work together on that and try to manage that as best as we can. And we actually have plans to get better, to keep a rolling active budget for Public Works. It'd just be important to them to know where they're operating at throughout the year. And I think that's going to be huge. It's what I did at Savage. We just, every day we knew where we were, and I think it's important for us to know that here as well.
Thank you, Mr. Palacios. Mr. Dornan, you will also have an additional 60 seconds if you would like it.
In my first stint, I was dealt with the pool and what Dave did. And every week you go in. If you didn't go in at least every 3 or 4 days, if you went in a week, he has to sign his name probably, 50 times during the summer. On the pool, until the pool shuts down, you're signing your name, but you are looking over the budget and saying, what's this for? What's that for? Why are we spending this on this? You can't really micromanage, but you can become aware of things the city needs to think about and bring them up in reports to city council. And that's what I say. Dave has done a great job doing that. He seems very competent at it, so I'm glad I don't have to sign all the time. Thank you, Lenny's.
Thank you, Mr. Dornan. And again, I want to take the time to thank both of you for taking the time to come and be here. And again, our third candidate, Tyson Damron, unable to attend. He is out ensuring the safety of those traveling the stretch of highway burned by the recent semi-truck accident. But events like these, I believe, are some of the most informative and helpful events we can have for the public, helping them ensure that they know who they're wanting to vote for and that they're making the right choice for the city in which they live in. We're going to be moving on to our final question of the evening now. Mr. Dornan, we will be starting with you on this one. And again, it's much like the first one in terms of it's pretty easy to answer. Why should the citizens of Helper vote for you? You will have 3 minutes.
I'm excited about the town. I think it is in a great position to move forward. I believe since we're replacing the water lines coming down, Black Hawk has approached us. We don't know if we have the water for the homes, but we're getting very close due to money that we have gotten to remake the pipes. We were losing half of our water in pipes, leaking from up. We have a great water source, and it was leaking. So we had to replace pipes, and that's one of the hardest jobs we have. I'm very excited to see that continue. And I would like to see Black Hawk come in. Their plan is to they eventually will ask us to annex property over there. Well, that means more taxes. That means your sidewalks are going to be better. And in my final thing, I would like to say to people who say, well, downtown is everything. Well, a vibrant downtown is critical for any community to grow because outsiders come in, they see Helper vibes, they move here. I've seen that happen many times. People that can live everywhere and say, you know what, let's buy a place here. And so they end up buying something literally sometimes the next day. And they live here and they love it. And I'm enthusiastic about that, and I see that as a future, and I see people who, on city council and our mayor doing a job that gets $300 a month. That's a job of a city manager. We're lucky, and I want to say this, we're lucky. I want to work with this mayor because she's getting $300 a month of what a city manager does. And if we look at Green River, it's a town about our size, somewhere in there. They have a city manager, and those salaries are oftentimes in city managers go anywhere from $40,000 to $80,000. I'm glad we don't have to face that because we have people in positions of enthusiasm in this town, and I want to see it continue. Now, I hope I last 4 years. I had my knee replaced, but I'm doing good. So anyway, there's Nancy out there putting her, oh, Dave, so anyway, things are good in Helper. I'm here to say, man, we can keep it going. Keep the momentum is my message to this city. So I would like to take part of that. If I'm not elected, I'll still be involved. But I want to help the decisions, usher them forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dornan. Mr. Palacios, same question for you to close out the night. Why should the citizens of Helper vote for you?
So, just first, real basically, I'm from here. I grew up here. I know this place. I have family here. I had a grandfather killed in the coal mines here. So it's, I have a lot of passion for Helper. And since I've been a council person, that passion has grown tenfold, and it just makes me to want to have the best for our city. I will strongly support our city council, our mayor. I especially like to support our public safety guys, our police officers who are here tonight, and grateful for that. I'm a firm believer in public safety. I have a lot of experience there. Our fire department's the same. I also want to, the things that we're working on right now, our transportation plan. We're looking at a skate park. We've got so many things, our electrical grid. And like Dave has mentioned, our water line, that's going to be huge. It's kind of cool here because we're first users of our water, and that's wonderful in my mind. I've been to places where it's not, and it's not so good. But so we're first users for our water, and Helper is the crown jewel, and I'd like to see it stay the crown jewel. I'd like people to vote for me because like I said, I have the passion to do this. I have a small part-time job that I can come and go as I please, just to give me something to do when the council doesn't have anything for me to do, which is seldom nowadays. But so anyway, and as I close, I just want to say that the citizens of Helper have some great candidate choices for city council. Great candidate choices. Take a look at everyone. I do hope you'll vote for me. I'd like to do this again. But again, it's just, I think it's a great lineup that we have, and I wish luck to all of them, and I'd be happy to work with all of them or any of them in the future. And again, I'd like your vote. I'm here to stay. I love this town, and I own Janet Street, so thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Palacios, and thank you, Mr. Dornan, and thank all of you for taking the time to come out and participate in our Meet the Candidates event, whether you're with us here in the Rio Theatre or listening to us on KOAL or watching us live on KOAL, Castle Country Focus on YouTube. We appreciate the time you're taking to come and educate yourselves on these candidates. An informed decision is the best decision that you can make. Again, tonight, we were meeting the candidates for Helper City Council, 2-year candidates Bob Olson, Ruth Lee, and Lori Barrett, and 4-year candidates David Palacios, Dave Dornan, and Tyson Damron. If you want to get involved in future Meet the Candidate events, you can email any questions you have to election2025@koal.net. Again, that is election, not elections. Voting information for you one last time before we wrap up. Early voting for the 2025 municipal general election will be conducted at the Carbon County Administration Building beginning on Tuesday, October 28th and running until Friday, October 31st from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. In-person voting will also be held on Election Day from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. again at the Carbon County Administration Building. If you're voting by mail-in ballot, drop-off locations are available at the Urban County Administration Building at the Clerk's Office and East Parking Lot, as well as at Wellington City Hall, East Carbon City Hall, Helper City Hall, and Schofield Town Hall. I'd like to give a big shout-out to those working behind the scenes, Paul Anderson and Jordan Buscarini, for making us look and sound so good up here. And tomorrow, we'll be back here at the Rio Theatre meeting the candidates for Helper City Mayor, Kathy Fawcett and Lanice Peterman. Doors will open here at the Rio at 5 with the event starting at 5 p.m. Again, you can find the stream of that if you're unable to attend in person on KOAL 107.3 FM and 750 AM or on our YouTube page, KOAL Castle Country Focus. From all of us here at Castle Country Radio, thank you, and signing off, I'm Aiden Mortensen.
You've been listening to Meet the Candidates 2025 Helper City Council Edition. Tomorrow, we'll return to the Rio Theatre in Helper to meet the candidates running for Helper City Mayor, incumbent Lanice Peterman and challenger Kathy Fawcett. To get a full schedule of our upcoming forums, visit castlecountryradio.com. Each of our sessions are available to view on demand on our YouTube channel, KOAL Castle Country Focus.